If you're in Seattle, and you need to buy or sell a home, we'll be right there for you. Because we're the realtors that you can trust. So go to ronanddonsitdown.com.
You're listening to The Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Ron and Don Show. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I'm here with our title sponsor, Lisa with a Y. Matt.
With a Y.
With a Y from teamlisa.com. Lisa, thanks for coming into the studio today.
Of course.
We want to do a special real estate only edition because I keep having a situation come up over and over and over again, and it's confusion on bridge loans versus buy before sell. And so I'll do a little background, correct me where I'm wrong. There developed a trend where people were like, I only want to move one time. So I don't have enough money to buy the house that I want until I sell this house. And so back in the day, it must have been 10, 20 years ago, or maybe longer, they came up with a concept called the bridge loan. Can you sort of set up what it used to be and why that product came into being?
Yes, absolutely. And it still exists.
Okay.
But essentially a bridge loan is one loan over two properties. So the bank gets to leverage the existing equity in your home to allow you to buy that new home. So we call that cross-collateralized.
Okay.
So essentially they're going to give you one new mortgage to buy the new house. Then when you move in and sell your current house, they release that lien and you can take the proceeds and pay the remaining balance down, and then you're left with that smaller loan.
So what were the positives and negatives of the bridge loan? Because from the clients I had back in the day that did one, they're like, Ron, this is way more expensive than I thought it was going to be.
Yes, I think that is the downside to a bridge loan. It is more expensive. They are considered a refinance, so they have that extra 3-day right of rescission in addition to like the regular waiting period. So they take a long time to close. They take about 45 days. You have to get an appraisal on both properties, and you do have, one loan tied up over two homes.
So let me make sure I understand this right. So let's say I'm going to use really round numbers. Let's say I bought my house for $300,000 back in the day. It's now worth $1,300,000. So I have $1 million in equity. I want to go buy another house for $1 million. So with a bridge loan, is the bank going, you're now buying $2.3 million worth of stuff? So your income needs to support that. Is that correct? Is that the right way to think about it?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
So they're going to look at it more from a loan to value standpoint. So if you're buying that new house and you need 20% down, they're going to look at the total price of both homes and say you need to have 20 or 30% equity.
Of both?
Across. So you get to get credit for all that appreciation and equity that you have.
Okay.
There are more than one bridge loan. So from an income standpoint, some investors will qualify you on the final loan and some investors will want you to qualify for both.
And I'm going to do a couple technical questions because this is where the fees get eaten up a lot and people will call me and go, wait a minute, I got fee after fee after fee. So if I'm doing a bridge loan and I buy the new house, it closes, then do I have to originate another loan and another set of fees for the old house?
No.
When it's selling?
No, you do not have to do that. So when the other house sells, it sells and a portion of the bridge loan will get paid off. And then the loan will be what we call recast. The payment will be reset on that lower principal balance. Bridge loans are great. They're relatively easy to qualify for because the investor has the collateral of two homes. So from a qualification standpoint, they're very easy. They allow people to buy before they sell, but they work better for people who have limited income and maybe don't have a lot of options, often retired. If someone is still working, there are more modern versions of the bridge loan that allow them to make a purchase before selling.
And so let's just say interest rates are at 6%, even though I know they're not for round numbers. What would my bridge loan number be for the time I'm moving these pieces around the board?
The interest rate itself is not that much higher. It's about 1/4 to 0.5% higher, but the fees are substantially higher.
So how's that work?
So they're going to be about 1.5% to 2% of the total
The whole
loan amount,
thing.
the whole thing.
Wow.
And not all bridge loans work the same, but most bridge loans will pay off a current mortgage, and then there will be one mortgage over both homes.
So if I'm the example I gave, I'm paying 2 points on 2.3 million.
Yes.
That's some serious fees.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But they're incredibly flexible. Some bridge loans don't even require a payment until you sell that other home.
Okay.
So they can be a great tool as long as you know what you're in for. And even paying the bridge loan fees is less expensive than moving twice.
Right.
And, you know, most people, once they move out and their real estate agent's able to go in and stage the home, they're going to get more for that home when they do sell it.
And so when I get in the new home, sell the old home, does my interest rate, do I get that 0.25% back, or I'm locked in at that higher rate forever?
That's a really good question. That depends on the investor. Some will price in a premium of about 0.25%. And once you sell your current home, when they adjust the mortgage payment, they will also lower the interest rate 0.25%. Others, you stay at the same rate. I mean, I think my message here is there's not a one size fits all. There's lots of different bridge loans.
So then, and I'm here with Lisa, Team Lisa with a Y.com, if you're talking about loans or you need a loan. So let's talk about the evolution then, because maybe a year ago I was talking to you and you were like, hey, there's a lot more products out now, because I brought up bridge loan because that's all I knew. And you said, Ron, there's more products available. How did this evolve? What was the reason that the industry is like, we need to broaden the offerings here?
I think because it's the most common call we get. Most people do not want to go through living in their home, having open houses, having people come through. If they have kids or animals or both, they don't want the inconvenience of having to have their home, you know, stage ready all the time. So really what we have developed at our company, we call it departing residence, and it's geared for people who are looking to either move up or downsize, want to buy before sell, but they still have income. So
Okay.
essentially, we're going to qualify them for the new mortgage. And as long as we know they intend to list their current property for sale, we don't count that payment in the debt to income ratio. So that allows them to buy without selling, without the expensive fees of a bridge loan.
Okay, so we should probably do a little sidebar on why is that important? Like our debt to income ratio, what does that mean when I'm going through the loan process? That's a huge piece of information that the underwriter looks at, yes?
Exactly. So if you buy a new house before you sell your current house, you have to have enough income from an underwriter's standpoint to support both house payments, including the property taxes and insurance. And the reality is most people can't.
Right. And so when we talk about this ratio, it's like, hey, you as a family, so it can be the husband and wife or a single person, you make X amount of money. And as long as your debt, so we're talking credit cards, automobile cards, boat loans, anything else, right? All of that gets bundled together, and they're looking for the ratio between those two things.
Exactly.
Okay. And so we said we want to get lower fees, and we want there to be more products. So explain to us what those products are, how it's different.
So it's entirely different because it allows you to use a regular conventional mortgage. So you're not paying a higher interest rate. You're not paying higher closing costs. There's no restrictions on when you sell your home. Sometimes on bridge loans, you have to sell your home within 6 months or 12 months. On departing residence, you simply have to list it for sale. Now, there are some caveats. You are going to have a higher credit score. So you want to have a 680 credit score or higher. And we are going to look for reserves, meaning we want to show that you have 6 months worth of mortgage payments in the bank.
For both houses?
For both houses.
Okay.
Now, we do count 401ks.
Okay, you do count 401ks?
Yes, so it does not have to be liquid.
Okay.
But, it definitely, you have to have a little bit more buying power than just standard.
So a couple of scenarios that we literally have had clients that we sent you. One that was like, hey, Ron and Don, we want to buy out of state. Does it matter if we're buying somewhere else in the country versus buying the new house is going to be out of state? Does it matter if it's out of state or not?
That's a great question. On departing residence, it does not. On bridge loans, most investors will not cross-collateralize, which is the term we use for one loan on two properties across state lines. So departing residence really opens up quite a bit more flexibility.
And then the other one that I've had recently is different property types. So it's like, hey, we're in a condo, which we know the days on market are longer and the condo market is softer than the single family home market. So if someone's like coming from a condo to a single family home, does, like, when you're cross-pollinating those things, does that matter at all from a loan standpoint?
No, only the occupancy matters. So typically on a bridge loan, you can only go primary residence to primary residence, but it does not matter if it's a condo to a house or a house to a duplex or anything like that.
Okay, and so it really depends. So I guess my mind was a little bit changed here because I thought we were going to say bridge loan bad, buy before you sell good, but you're saying both can be good depending on the circumstance. Are there other things I'm missing here in understanding this concept in our people that listen to the Ron and Don show? It's like, if they're thinking about this, like, yeah, we want to downsize, or I want to move, we have a client that wants to move to Boise. And it's like, okay, well, like, let's figure out if you can afford to move to Boise because you only have so much equity in your house here.
Yes, I think the only thing to point out is that on departing residents, we can combine that with a home equity line of credit to access their equity for the down payment.
Okay.
The other thing that we see oftentimes with people looking to downsize is we will also do a reverse for purchase. So people can use a reverse mortgage to purchase a new property if they have a lot of equity in their current house. I am not a believer in saying one thing is good or one thing is bad. I always like to look at everything, and both products exist. Both products allow people to buy before sell, and depending on the individual circumstances, one may be better than the other.
Yeah, and I think you brought up a really good point that I think we'll end on is I think a lot of people, especially I've found like software people, like your classic spreadsheet man or woman, they'll get in there and they'll look at a fee and they don't, if it's not on the spreadsheet, it doesn't exist. Meaning, like you said, hey, if you have to put your possessions in storage, or you have to move twice, or you have to set up utilities over here and then set them up again, the utility of it being smooth is worth something. I don't know exactly what it's worth, but it's not $0. And so how do you talk about the psychology of that? Because I agree with you. Like, you can look at that number and go, wow, that's a lot of fees. However, go price out a moving truck or go price out staying in temporary housing for 3 months. Like, those expenses exist if you don't do it this way.
Yeah, and those are intangibles, which I think everybody, it's a little bit subjective and they'll put their own dollar amount on that. But then I think, working with you, that you can also walk them through, here's what your home looks like today. If you're able to move out and maybe we paint this or we fix the porch, what do you think that would get on the market in terms of additional sales price?
Okay, so she's Lisa with a Y. It's teamlisa.com. And if you're thinking, hey, it's time to downsize, it's time to upsize, maybe we had a baby in the family and we need more bedrooms, and you say, I don't want to move twice, let's do this one time. Give them a call. They'll set up a Zoom or a meeting with you, figure out all the options, and then you make an educated decision. I can't believe the number of times I talk with people where they just go, I'm going to the bank, I'm getting a loan. It's like, that's not how it works. You have a lot of different products. Each one has different features. Each one has different fees. And so you get to go through and say, I want to narrow it down to these 3 things, and then really study those and go, this one's the best for my situation. So contact Lisa. She will set you up, and she is our title sponsor here on the Ron and Don Show.
Well, that's it. Show's over. We'll see you next time on the Ron and Don Radio Network.